Clark the Shark Dares to Share by Bruce Hale, and the pictures are by Guy Francis. Clark the Shark loved school. He loved his teacher and he loved learning, but sometimes Clark got a little mixed up. One marvelous morning, Mrs. Inky Dink told Clark's class, "Time for show and share." Benny Blowfish went first. He played a song so sweet and sassy that Clark couldn't help but dance his funky shark dance, with a hip and a hop and a skitty widdly wop. "Sit down, please," said Mrs. Inky Dink. "But I was sharing too," said Clark. "Sharing is caring," said Mrs. Inky Dink, "and everyone must learn to wait their turn." "I get it," said Clark, but he didn't really. At Reading Roundup, Amanda Eelwiggle won a scrumptious prize for reading the most books. "Sea slug ice cream," asked Clark. "Yum, yum, I want some." "That's up to Amanda," said Mrs. Inky Dink. "But sharing is caring," cried Clark. Mrs. Inky Dink nodded. "Yes, I'm aware, but the giver chooses where to share." "Sharing is confusing," said Clark. In reef hockey, Clark chose to share his spectacular skills. "Hockey is awesome," he roared. Clark front faked and back faked his stick checked and decked. In the end, Clark did everything but pass the puck. His teammates were cranky. "Hey, hotshot, let someone else score, why don't you?" said his best friend, Joey Mackerel. "But we all shared to win," said Clark. Coach Krabby scowled. "A win's not okay unless we all get to play. Sharing is complicated," said Clark. After school, Clark and Joey Mackerel played Sea Wars at Joey's house. "Wow, is that Dark Waiter?" asked Clark. "Best birthday present ever," said Joey. "Want to play with Fluke Seawalker?" Clark really wanted Dark Waiter, but Joey asked him to wait his turn. Then, when Joey went to get them a snack, Clark couldn't resist. "Must be my turn." It was, after all, the coolest toy ever. "Sea Wars rocks," cried Clark. "Pow, bam, crunch." Oops. "Clark," cried Joey, "you broke it." "Sorry," said Clark. "I was sharing." Joey shook his head. "That's not sharing," he said. "That's taking and breaking." Clark the Shark swam home befuddled and bewildered. He didn't understand sharing at all. And when he arrived, Clark found he wasn't the only one who didn't get it. "Mom," cried Clark, "my cat. He borrowed it. He bit it, and now it's ruined." "Teething or no teething," Clark's mother said, "that's no way to treat a cat." She told his brother to ask before borrowing, but she told Clark, "You have heaps of cats, and if you have a lot, why not share a lot?" But Clark didn't want to hear it. He swam to his room and sulked up a storm. "Sharing is caring," Clark grumbled. "It's not taking and breaking." But this only reminded him of what he'd done at Joey's house. Clark's head hurt, as if a big, sharky thought was trying to break free. So sharing is waiting your turn, letting everyone play, the giver chooses when, not taking and breaking, and giving what you've got a lot of. Sharing was confusing, but, thought Clark, it also might be worth getting right. "Mom," he asked, "will you help me bake something?" The next day, Clark gave Joey a home-baked krill cake and a great big sharky apology. "I think I'll share this with the whole class," said Joey. "Really?" said Clark. "Really," said Joey. And when Amanda Eelwiggle saw all that cake being cut up, she said, "You know what goes well with krill cake?" "No, what?" said Clark. "Sea slug ice cream." And just like that, she scooped her treat onto everyone's plate. Clark the Shark looked around at all of his classmates enjoying cake and ice cream, and he got a warm, wiggly feeling up deep down inside. "What is it, Clark?" asked Mrs. Inky Dink. With a ginormous grin, Clark broke into the funkiest, sharkiest, funky shark dance ever. And this time all his classmates joined him with a hip and a hop and a skiddly widdly wop. Sharing is sweet, cried Clark the shark. That end. Hope you enjoyed that story. Make sure you go ahead and like and subscribe to my page, That Kinderteach, and look forward to a new story from me every day. We'll see you next time.